since day one, you would not have invested in a manufacturing facility. So what was that time when you realized that, yes, this is the right time, we should invest in a manufacturing facility? And before that, what were you exactly doing? How were you manufacturing these chewing gums?
I've been kind of blessed to have the kind of skill sets to develop a product, so I didn't ever have to go to a consultant. The initial gums that we were making were all handmade, hand rolled, cut. When it got to a point that okay, now there is good user traction and people are liking the product and people are coming and buying the product again. When I thought, okay, boss, let's invest a little bit of money and set up a small pilot unit of our own. For us, it's always been uh, figuring out supply and demand. When the demand goes up and the supply is down, then increase the supply or increase the production capacity to an extent. Whereas if I was heavily funded or any other person who has the funds at his discretion, then what people do is they invest in a state of the art factory, and then they figure out where to sell, right? So
Correct,
their
correct.
supply is sorted, but the demand is not yet. But in our case, it's always been a supply demand mismatch where demand has always been higher than the supply, and we are kind of figuring out how to cater to that demand. And I spent a lot of time also going around to contract manufacturing sites. If you keenly observe the D2C space in India, if a company is a seller, they are not a manufacturer, or if a company is a manufacturer, they are not a seller. Majority of the
Generally.
companies out there, your Mama Earth, any of these brands that you can think of, they all just formulate and get product made, and all they do is market and sell. That's why they've been able to scale that fast, and that's why I also spend some time going out to contract manufacturing sites to see if somebody can give me a kind of product that matches my quality requirement, but could not find anything that suits my requirement. Either they were too large or they were too small and dirty. So again, boils down to me investing in our own equipment.
If we talk about contract manufacturing, apart from quality, what is something that contract manufacturing cannot give you, which your manufacturing facility can?
Secrecy. I have a proprietary product. Whatever you do in India, whatever NDAs you sign, there is no security, right?
Correct.
So first thing is that unless and until there is a way I can protect my recipe and my formulation, it's very easy for the contract manufacturer to copy. Second is majority of these contract manufacturers have their own MOQs in place. Small company to be able to match those MOQs is a little difficult. Also, the intent is very important. The frequency of the seller and the manufacturer also has to be on the same level. Otherwise, if there is that mismatch, like for us, we went to a place in Nagpur. The higher management was very willing to help us out and manufacture for us, but the people in the factory floor were, very hesitant. They said, we don't want to take this product up because the quantities are very small, and it affects our overall production targets and all of that. So there's a lot more around contract manufacturing than just going to a factory and like placing an order. It doesn't work like that.
So, Mayank, tell me one thing. Let's talk about competition. So, you said that you came up with caffeine chewing gums in the market and then Neurogum entered. I have heard about Neurogum on corners of the internet. Joe Rogan talks about it. When it came to India, because frankly speaking, I discovered Neurogum first and then I discovered Good Gum. And as I had already heard about it, I gave it a shot.
Yeah.
The product was good, it worked, but then I came across Good Gum.
Yeah.
And you were also making caffeinated chewing gums. So recently I ordered a pack of four mini pack. I realized that the flavors that you're offering are quite real, and plus that's a clean product. That actually converted me as a customer, because I was already paying say 500 rupees for a month supply of chewing gums. Same as what I'm paying here, but I'm getting a cleaner product. So that is how you switched me into being a customer of Good Gum. But how do you think Neurogum, which is already well known, do you think they will eat your market share, or how are you trying to play the
See,
competition?
honestly, I don't look at them as a competitor, right? Both
Mm-hmm.
of us are selling a very different product in a different packaging style, etc., etc. And more, there are two to three different players in the same space. It becomes easier for all three to sell, right? Now, when you heard about a caffeinated chewing gum from Joe Rogan already, you already know about a caffeinated gum. So I don't have to, first tell you what a caffeine chewing gum does. It becomes a little more conducive for all competitors to sell the same product, right? Even if somebody starts selling a cleaner chewing gum, like a plastic-free, biodegradable, sugar-free chewing gum, like my own, it's like I have another person in my team. The competitor basically becomes my teammate to fight the larger companies. That's how I look at competition.